Would you please stand? Please be seated. Adam, Jacinta and Sarah, with Sue, Fraser and Luke, 'tis time to bring the flowers forward. And while they're preparing that, thank you to Paul, and who has headed up the guard of honour, which not all of you could see, but there was Don's fellow bike riders forming a guard of honour down this aisle here, and Paul brought in his beloved bike, and there it is for us to gaze on and be inspired by. Here come the flowers. So Adam told me a few of you went for a swim this morning, and for those interested, it's just gone high tide. The bay is in a gentle, soft mood, as the Irish say. It's a soft day today. I'm not sure what the conditions of the roads is like. Perhaps a bit slippery. This is for the bike riders, a bit slippery with some rain after the dry weather. I'm mindful that we are in a magnificent part of the world. Don was always mindful of that. We acknowledge those, the original custodians of this land, the Wadawurrung, and we honour them and their leaders, past and present. And also we're mindful of that Indigenous First Nations community that Don and Liz lived amongst for some time in Kakadu. Welcome, and on behalf of Liz and the family, it's good that we've gathered like this, and also including those who are connecting with us via live streaming. My name is Peter Martin. My wife Helen and I got to know Don and Liz through our shared love of swimming and our many chats when we bumped into each other on that well-beaten track along Shell Road to the Springs Beach. There is an enormous amount of love, respect and gratitude gathered here today. Love and respect and gratitude amidst the sadness and grief which comes with such partings. Our earthly pilgrimage with Don has come to an end. Today we say our goodbyes. And by our love and respect and gratitude, we commend Don to that pathway beyond time and space, into God's love, which embraces the whole cosmos and at the same time every lily of the field, every sparrow that falls to the ground, and every hair on each of our heads. This is the human journey. This is our journey. Don is just one step ahead of us. As we move into this memorial service, and I just want to say one thing at this stage, I want you to be quietly aware of a dimension to our gathering that is beautifully evident in the words people have chosen when speaking about Don. A lot of the time, Don is being addressed in the second person. That is, speaking to Don as though he is here with us. This holds a deeper mystery than merely what is sometimes explained as the language used in the early stages of the grieving process. It's much more than that, this way of speaking. So, let us move into this memorial service with the lighting of candles. Thank you. And now, Julie, if you could lead the grandchildren in their tributes.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Julie, Liz's sister, and I hope you're all feeling the love, because this room is full of it right now. And you're about to get some more as the grandchildren will bring up to the front something that's really special for them, that means something to Don, and I'm going to read you some of the words that they wrote. So Jack said, "I'm just happy to know how much you've done in your life. You've done more in your life than some could do in 200 years. Harry said, "You are the wise, compassionate, strong family man I hope to be one day. Gracie, from the day I met you, which I don't really remember, I knew you were such a softie. You listen to people that need you. You always have our backs. You are kind, relentless, and most of all, funny. Lila, Papa was known for his bone-crushing crocodile hugs. So tight I could hardly breathe, yet I never felt safer. No other hug compared, and they all said, 'I've got you.' Taj, I love going to the skate park and riding bikes with him. Jade, and Evie aren't here at the moment, but Jade's 4, and she says, 'Thanks for talking to the birds with me, Papa.' And Evie says, 'Love,' she's not quite 2. 'Love you, Papa.' Mwah.
Thank you. Now I have some words here written by Don's brother Trevor. Trevor's here, and he has given me the honour, a challenge, to read his words. They're lovely words. I've been practising, but I don't know that I'll do full justice to them. But Trevor, you can give me a score out of 10 when I've finished. Hi everyone, my name is Trevor. I am the younger brother of Don. Don was born at the Royal Women's Hospital on the 28th of October 1951 in Melbourne. Our family lived in a new developing suburb called Sunshine. Don's first school was Sunshine Heights Primary, and then went into Sunshine Technical School. One of my earliest memories of Don is, of course, going fishing. Don would have been a teenager, and I was the annoying little brother who tagged along. Dad would take us fishing down at Geelong off one of the many piers along the waterfront. Don would have one of the latest Jarvis Walker rod and reels. Dad would have a hand-me-down set up, while I had to make do with an old Coke bottle hand line. You don't have to ask who caught the most fish. I suppose this is where Don's love of fishing began. Another early recollection of Don was sharing a bedroom together when I was an early teen. Don was in his late teens and often out on Friday and Saturday nights frequenting the local nightclub in Sunshine, the Crossroads. Well, you could say during the week I was sharing, but on the weekends he was often missing. Being 6'5" tall, dark and athletic, Don was well liked by the opposite sex. So on Friday and Saturday nights, who knows why he didn't come home. Sorry, Liz. Another weekend haunt of Don's was the local hotel, the Tottenham, called the Totty by locals. The Totty was known for its music and rough crowds. Rumours of fights were common. I remember one Sunday morning breakfast, one where Don was actually at home. Don appeared at the breakfast table with a big black eye. Dad was shocked and Mum was upset. I remember Mum saying to Don words to the effect of, "Look at you, you look terrible." Without hesitation, Don's response was classic. "That's nothing, you should see the other bloke." Dad would often take Don and I to Calder racetrack to watch the car racing. To get to Calder, instead of driving through Keilor and down the highway, Dad would take us the back way along the dirt roads of St Albans and Rockbank. It didn't take long for Don and I to work out why. Dad would stop the car along the outside fence along the back straight of the racecourse where there was a hole in the fence. Don and I would crawl through the fence, hide in the long grass and wait for Dad to drive through the entrance. Here he would pay for one adult, drive in, and when Don gave the signal, we would bolt through the paddock to the car, hoping no one would see us. Our Dad was such a tight ass. Don loved his cars. Even before he had a licence, he had cars which he took apart, stripped, repaired and reassembled. There are often cars in the driveway in all states of disrepair, stripped motors, spare wheels and tyres, resprayed doors, anything and everything. I even remember a green HR Holden on the nature strip completely smashed. Don had wrapped it around a pole somewhere in North Melbourne. It was a write-off. All his hard work was wasted. I think that might have been a little wake-up call for Don. Don started his electrical apprenticeship with PMG around this time. Don started to bring home scraps of electrical wire. Over time, these scraps got longer and bigger and developed into several heaps in the corner of the garage. Thanks to the statute of limitations, I think I can tell you this story. Don would peel back the end of the insulating cover of the strand of copper wire, tighten the exposed wire into a vise. Dad would pull the other end of the wire through and Don would proceed to strip the insulation off the wire with a Stanley knife. My job was to collect the stripped insulation off the ground and bin it. Don would roll up the perfectly clean copper wire in coils and create a new heap in the garage. After a few weekends of stripping, a load of copper was taken to the local Sims metal recyclers. Don insisted Dad use his EK Holden. When asked why, Don said, "I can't take my car because they take your rego. They can't know it is me and where I get it. I'll get in trouble." The three of us would have to sit in the front bench seats to try to counterbalance the weight of all the copper in the boot. I don't know how they bluffed their way into Sims, but they got away with it. Maybe that's how Don financed all his partying and car repairs. Not long later, the shenanigans had to stop. Don met Liz. Don changed from a bit of a larrikin into a family man. Don and Liz initially lived in Sunshine, bought their first house in Melton and then moved to Essendon. Don lived in Essendon when he started bike riding. Sunday mornings he would often meet on Keilor Road in Essendon and complete a loop ride around Wildwood Road, around Tullamarine Airport and back. This progressed to meeting in Port Melbourne and riding down Beach Road to Mordialloc and return, trying to keep up with the young bucks. I said trying. We also tried riding up Challambra Hill, a la Cadell Evans Road race route, not at race speed, in our lowest gear and grovelling up to the top. Once there we would stop and watch the pros race up. We both had a new respect for professional riders. Early on, we were labelled mammals, middle-aged men in lycra. But later we matured into vomits, very old men in tights. Don loved bike riding so much, he came along with my school group on a few great Victorian bike rides. On one of the mornings on a ride, there was a technical issue and the breakfast meal was cancelled. Instead, everyone was directed to a container truck where pastries and fruit juices were being given out. Well, there were hundreds of people scrambling to get their brekkie. Without any hesitation, Don pushed his way to the front, yelling out, "Principal coming through?" When he reached the front, he demanded, "I am the principal of my school and I have 20 students and staff who need their breakfast. I need 2 trays of pastries and a tray of juices." Without questioning him, they duly handed over. He walked back to camp with a beaming smile, a chuckle, and 2 loud cheers from the kids. As we know, Don, Liz and the family have been avid travellers, both around Australia and overseas. When Lisa and I purchased our Rhino Max camper, it was a perfect opportunity for us to spend quality time with Don and Liz venturing into the bush. We went on a few short camping trips. Up onto the Vic High Plains to Lake Cobbler, gold detecting near Bendigo, and trying to catch fish at 90 Mile Beach and Sea Spray. I will cherish these trips together and the many chats around the campfire, downing a few reds and, of course, the obligatory musket. Unfortunately, we couldn't coordinate travelling together on the big lap, but Lisa and I will do that soon, and I know Don will be with us all the way. Many of our conversations were about the mods we had done to our campers, mods we have done to our cars, and of course, how good our Land Cruisers were compared to the other pretend Forbies. My current cruiser is in fact Don's previous cruiser, his 200 series. As soon as we got Don's car, our family affectionately christened it the Don. So again, Don will be with us on our travels. During our lives, everyone has heroes or people they admire, respect, and hold in the highest regard. Don was my hero. He was my gladiator. Someone who always had your back, would support you unconditionally, and went to extraordinary lengths to help you. He was my Superman, a leader who was reliable, strong, and seemingly invincible. More importantly, he was my super bro, always giving logical advice, help and support. He was someone I could always rely on. He was always there. He was my role model. He was everything you could want in a big brother. He was always welcoming with his bear hugs and big smile. I love you, big bro. Everyone will miss you terribly. There will always be a place for you at my campfire. Your little bro, Trevor. Thanks, Trevor. How'd I go? I now have a few words to pass on from Don's most recent bike group, Robert, Paul, Bruce and Peter, who have not only his bike group but a great support during his illness. These are the words. G'day friends, family and pedal pushers. We're here to remember Don Skinner, the Essendon-socked legend who turned every Bellarine ride into an adventure. Don was passionate, focused and famously directionally challenged. Find Me was our group lifesaver for his right when we went left detours. Route chats? Up the guts today, boys, he'd bellow, gunning for the Bellarine Highway like it was a footy charge. Don was a true man's man. We all admired his grit, his laughs, and that unbreakable spirit. Even when riding stopped, he'd join us for coffee, keeping the laughs and the travel stories rolling. But no matter the tale, he'd weave in his exploits with Liz and the family, proof of his soft spot under that tough exterior. Rest easy on those open roads, you rogue. We'll miss your yarns and your guts. Ride on, mate. Go Bombers. I've got a little addendum, a little PS here. In the 1980s, a lawyer by the name of Arnold Zack coined the phrase, and you have probably heard it by now, no one on his deathbed ever said, I wish I'd spent more time on my business. No one on their deathbed has ever said, I wish I had spent more time on my business. Well, I think Don is an exemplar of that saying. However, having said that, he knew how to work hard and was successful in his work. He joined, as mentioned, he joined the PMG in 1969. Now, for those of you who weren't around then, and any time before 1975, PMG was the Postmaster General's Department, which then became, actually didn't become Telstra straight away, it was Telecom, then became Telstra. So just a bit of history for those youngsters. Don worked for Telstra for over 20 years and then started his own successful business, Don's Electrical Services, which included working as a subcontractor to Telstra and other government organisations, as well as private jobs. John had up to 6 people working for him, as well as many contractors over the years. I took special note of that because small business is a tough gig, and you're not only trying to make a living yourself, you're responsible for those 6 or 7 households who you've got to keep the work up to. I think that's an amazing achievement. It's now my pleasure to ask Bernard, Don's lifelong mate, to come forward.
Thanks, Peter. Hello. We're here today to remember and celebrate the name, my best mate, Don, a man who meant so much to us all. It's hard to stand here and try to put him into words. He wasn't just a friend. The bond between us, formed over 35 years, ran deeper than friendship. Over the years, I witnessed on numerous occasions Don's unwavering loyalty, boundless kindness, generous heart, and quiet strength. Don's zest for life was both contagious and evident in everything he did. He was certainly not a glass half empty kind of guy. We shared many amazing times as our children grew around us. In the early days, Friday night drinks with fish and chips graduated to gourmet dinners to end the working week. Then graduating to family weekends away at places like Aireys Inlet, where most of us got lost on a bushwalk in the national park and were rescued by a truck driver after walking in circles for a couple of hours. We always strive for the most isolated locations for our barbecues. Weekends and school holidays away together led to our annual 4-week holiday to different places up north, including Noosa, Yamba, Port Stephens, Maroochydore. Don would tow the boat, which was much appreciated by our family. It made all the difference to our holiday. Don and I would go fishing in the bay quite often and solve the world's problems in between getting our fair share of flatties. I remember on one such fishing expedition talking about Christmas presents, and Don came up with the brilliant idea we should give our wives bikes for Christmas so that we could go on rides together, which led to us stopping at a bike shop in Footscray on the way home and buying bikes. We had many bike adventures, some of which involved a train ride, a punt, not a stop at the TAB, a long lunch and a long ride home. That idea worked so well, the next year Don suggested we buy water skis for the girls for Christmas, which led to a very interesting Christmas day when Mary and Liz opened their presents. Another brilliant idea, as all the family learned to water ski on the Noosa River. Our joint love for bush barbecues, open fires, good music and red wine, amongst lots of other things, was shared by both Mary and Liz, which added to it our bond. As Don's cancer took hold, he still gave his all, and we are in awe of the dignified manner in which he dealt with it. We love you, Don. What a man. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Bernard.
My glasses. I was going to say, why is it all blurry? Can everyone hear me? Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks. That was beautiful, Bernie. Trevor. Dear Dad, I've had a hard time writing this because I wasn't sure who was from or who was for. Whether it was for Mum, the girls, or everyone here, or for you. But I think it's important for me to keep connecting with you. So this is a letter to you, up there. This is the beginning of our journey connecting with you from down here. and wherever you are now. First, I'd hope you give Nana a big hug for me and everyone. I'd like to think of you both up there looking down on us, especially today. And maybe a second, if you could talk to the surf gods, because it was pretty small surf this morning. Hey Dad, Don, Rockin, Donnie, Dono, Donato, Big Palatru, and even Tin Man, or whatever you've decided to call yourself today, or maybe all of them. You are the anchor to our family, and even though you're gone, you're still our anchor. I know you already know this, but you have left Mum and me and Jacinta and Sarah with everything we need and more. Thank you for loving Mum the way you did, and for showing us what true love looks like. The force of your love together as a team is the greatest gift you could give anyone, and it will always stay with us. Through you, we learn to love openly, to love through giving strength, through connection, through being interested in others and sharing in their lives, through understanding people and acting with care, through nurturing community, and most of all, family. You showed me how to be a man. Thank you for the privilege of being your son. I am so proud. Through your example, I have learned honesty, respect, two of the most important values I carry and ones I try to instill in my children. Who's on her phone? I think it's this one. I know. You always made me accountable for my actions, firm but fair, and when you spoke to people, you listened. You were genuinely interested without judgment. As I grew older, I think we both learned to understand our emotions better. You showed me that strength and vulnerability can exist together. And of course, you taught me the essentials: how to fix cars, kick the footy, and enjoy the bush. Some of the best lessons of all. You also showed me the true value of friendship. You were approachable, positive, influential, charismatic, fun, easygoing, and calm. You inspired people just by being yourself. You had this ability to help your friends feel safe, seen, important. You made them feel like they belonged. That was your gift, and it is something I hope to nurture in myself. You were a mentor to many. Since you left us, we've learnt so much about how you guided and shaped our friends and family. We are proud, and it was really special to watch and learn from you. There were times, especially in my 20s, when we saw things differently. I wanted to travel, to discover myself, to explore the world in ways that were different from your path. But even when I chose, different from your advice, to travel overseas and do aid work, it wasn't long before you embraced it, showed interest and joined me. In Papua New Guinea and then on motorbikes throughout India, those were some of my special times of my life, and I will never forget them. So we are gathered here today in celebration of your life, to be with family and friends, each of us carrying our own little story, our own little memory of our time with you and how special you were. We're here today together to cry and to laugh and to be remembered, or to remember you. You left very big shoes to fill, but I have no doubt I'll make you proud. We will all keep your memory alive. In a lighter note, there are a few things my family and I would like to share with you, some funny moments from the time before and after Dad's passing. It's okay to laugh. We did, and we really needed to. About a month before Dad's passing, Sarah, Dad and I were in the kitchen and Dad started to get emotional and he said, I'm going to miss the grandchildren, watching them grow up. I'm going to miss your mum. And then with so much emotion and through the tears, he said, and the bush, the bush, the bush. This was his happy place with Mum in the bush. And about a week ago, Jacinta and I visited Dad, took us out the back to sit on the couches. We were a little down. And he looked at us and he said, Jacinta, Adam, look at me. Now smile. I'm not dead yet. We smiled right away that moment. The sanders lifted. We were just there with him. In the last few days, Dad didn't have many words left. He was too tired. But the words he did say showed who he was. I was in bed with him. He was struggling to breathe. And in the distance, he heard an ambulance. And he said, poor guy. Even then, he was thinking of someone else. Another time, he heard the coffee machine when he was talking to Bernie. And he said, put coffee beans in the coffee machine. It might seem small, but coffee, making it, serving it, was his way of welcoming everyone. And that was so him. And then there was the time when Jacinta and Mum walked in. And he looked up and said, am I dead yet? And Mum just smiled and said, no, of course not. What do you think? We're your angels. Can you just hold that for a second? No, there's a bit around the end that I just forgot. Even in the hardest moments, there was still laughter. And then there was one more. After Dad passed, when Mum lovingly helped him get ready, the funeral directors came early in the morning. They were kind and respectful. After they left, about 20 minutes later, Mum received a text from them that said, please don't worry, Ronald will be safe with us. Mum looked at the text and said, who's Ronald? Jacinta checked the paperwork and sure enough, Ronald Skinner. Oops. And in the moment and through the sadness, we laughed, and we properly laughed. Those laughs carried us. They gave us light when things felt dark. They gave us strength when we needed it most. Dad, thank you for everything you gave us. Your love, your strength, your humour, and your example will live on in all of us. We will carry you with us in how we love, how we live, and how we look after each other. I love you, Dad. Always.
He rides a bike that's a wild. Riding in his lycra, it's a sight to see. With a grin and a wink, he takes the lead, spreading laughter with incredible speed. Rides a bike that's wild and free, riding in his lycra, it's a sight to see. With a grin and a wink, he takes the lead, spreading laughter with incredible speed. Dad, you're an inspiration. With your steam train handshakes and big hugs, you give love to us all. Your kick leg dance moves, twist at the toes. Every movement your love just shows. You lift us up with your positive view. The best dad, always true. Your love for life, an endless song. With you, we know we belong. Dad, you're an inspiration. With your steam train handshakes and big hugs, you give love to us all. Your kick leg dance moves, twist at the toes. Every movement your love just shows. Through every trial, you've been our guide. With you, there's always pride. Your laughter and your gentle care. In every moment, you're there. Dad, you're an inspiration. With your steam train handshakes and big hugs, you give love to us all. Your kick leg dance moves, twist at the toes. Every movement your love just shows. Always welcome when we arrive. Coffee and fruitcake will not be deprived. Watching you love my mom so much. Foundation of love for your bunch.
I don't ask for too much. Oh, but I need more than nothing. And though a little bit of your touch wouldn't be enough, it's only just more than nothing. I don't keep tabs, but I can tell a zero from a one. Just a little bit of romance wouldn't stand a chance. It's only just more than nothing. Nothing just ain't enough. Now I'm not on your back, and I'm not on my knees. I don't push or pull, and I'm not that hard to please. Don't wanna be all up in your business, but I'm not even on your mind. I'm not breathing down your neck. I'm just looking to spend some quality time, and that would be fine. It's still just more than nothing. And though a little loving wouldn't change my mind, it'd still be more than nothing. Nothing just ain't enough. I won't ask for a lot, but I need more than nothing. And though a little of what you've got wouldn't have a shot, it's still just more than nothing. And that just won't do. You're giving me next to none, and that's the truth. And if you want this loving, you better change your act. You can't get lower than the bottom, and that's a fact. Hey, that's the bottom line. And if you want this love of mine, gotta do much more, or I'm walking out that door. Nothing ain't enough, that's for sure. Nothing ain't enough, that's for sure. I need more. Rides a bike that's wild and free. Riding in his lycra, it's a sight to see. With a grin and a wink, he takes the lead, spreading laughter with incredible speed. Dad, you're an inspiration, with your steam train handshakes and big hugs. You give love to us all. Your kick leg dance moves, twist at the toes. Every movement your love just shows. You lift us up with your positive view. The best dad, always true. Your love for life, an endless song. With you, we know we belong. Dad, you're an inspiration, with your steam train handshakes and big hugs. You give love to us all. Your kick leg dance moves, twist at the toes. Every movement your love just shows.
The other ashes will be in the yard at Liz and Don's home, next to one of his sculptures. And just in case anyone's anxious about that, they'll be, which I can be sometimes, they'll be there in a way that can be removed and moved on, if and when that's necessary down the track. And also to say, to remind you that in honour of Don, there is provision today to make a donation to ADRI, Asbestos and Dust Diseases Research Institute. And there's a QR code where you came in. Liz told me a couple of things on the morning after Don passed. The first was this. One of the last things Don said was, "Don't forget to keep talking to me." We've been doing a bit of that today. If I can quote Adam, he introduced his talk with, "I think it's important for me to keep connecting with you, so this is a letter to you up there. This is the beginning of our journey, connecting with you from down here." He went on to say, "First, I hope you give Nana a big hug for me. I like to think of you both up there, looking down on us all." Well, Nana is, of course, Don's mum, Joyce, and also there is Charlie, Don's dad, along with a whole cloud of witnesses, Margie and Tom, Patrick and Andrew, those who have gone before us, part of that communion of saints. A saint in that term is merely someone who's been put aside in God's love. That's what a saint is. The second thing Liz said to me was that whenever we went to church, whenever we went to a church service, when it came to the Lord's Prayer and the Our Father, Liz would hear Don not just mouthing the words, but reciting it with some verve and vigour. So our last act today is to say together the Lord's Prayer, and I'll ask you to stand as we do. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Go in peace. Amen. To the refreshments. Yes, we do. Don's favourite midnight oil song, Power and Passion. Feel free to dance.